Welcome to Quilt and Color. My name is Shalina. Today we're going to work on day 9 of the 15 minutes to quilt challenge, and I'm going to show you how I made this heart of my heart and arrow quilt. I've already shown you how I made the arrow, and so now it's just a matter of showing you the heart. And this is a really quick and easy block to finish off this quilt. I hope that you can sew along with me so that you can enter to win prizes. I'll give you the directions on how to enter to win at the end of the video, but make sure that you keep watching the whole way through because there's a secret word of the day that's hidden within the video itself. Also today I wanted to make sure that I gave you some special quilting news, so stay tuned for that as well. Let's see how much progress I can make in the next 15 minutes. Okay, so here is my arrow. And I think I want the heart to be, the bottom of the heart to be about this big. So I'm just going to cut some half square triangles here so I could add them. I guess I only need one square so that I can have, because I'll be able to make 2 half square triangles out of 1 square. So I'll make it a little bit big just to make sure that I have it big enough, because I can always trim it down. I was thinking 5 inches would be enough. It might be too big, but I think I just need one 5-inch square, and it might be too big, but I can always trim it down if I need. And I usually cut off a whole strip. Because that way there's no places where there's like edges that are not cut properly. Yeah, I'll just go ahead and cut it at 5 inches. Just get 1 square. To separate this. Okay. I'll go ahead and trim off the selvage, even though it's really tiny here for batik fabrics. And I'll need a 5-inch white square. Big enough. I could make it smaller. That might be too small. That might be too small. Yeah, I think this is too small. I'd rather get another white fabric. I'm going to have to just cut another one of this. It's fine. Just trying to use up the smaller scraps wherever possible. Don't know what I did with my pencil, so I will just press it in half. To give myself a sewing line. Actually, this will be the cutting line, so I'll just sew on both sides. This will be the cutting line, and I'll just sew on both sides of the crease. It's hard to tell with the batiks which is the front side, but usually there's a way to. One side does look prettier if it matters. In the overall scheme of things, it won't matter, but when I can, I try. Okay, so this needs to be sewn. And then for the top of the heart, I'd like to use the blue. And how big is the top going to be? So I'm thinking I need 2 rectangles, and I'll just cut little notches, so little white strips here on the inside part, and then bigger ones on the outside part, and then the bottom will be this part of the heart. This way on both sides. So I can just go ahead and cut a couple rectangles and sew the little corners on them, and then I can trim down the size for the outside piece before I sew the outside triangles. I'll just compare them to this to see how wide it needs to be. So right now I'm thinking that I would need something less than 5 inches. Let's cut 4 inches. I'll just cut it the same size as this is. I'm going to cut it the same size as this is because I want it to be smaller, and the rest of it can be in the seam allowance. So if I make it exactly the same size, then it'll be slightly smaller because of the seam allowance. So let's call it this. Okay, this looks like it's the right size. And normally I would cut the whole strip, but I think I'm going to go ahead and cut around it. Why I like to cut the whole strip instead of little parts, but it'll be fine. Right. I've been making a lot of quilts lately, so I have to replace my blade more frequently than I normally do. That's what I'm going to do with this block, is to just cut it in half. To make it each side of the top, and then I want to cut. I can use that one that I just rejected. This one. This one's kind of big, but this will be good for the outside parts too. But I can cut a smaller one cut 2 smaller squares for the inside. How deep do I want them to be? Maybe 2 inches, about this big. I think I want them to be this way, right? I want them to be, yeah. So I'm going to make them, what size? I'm just going to make them improv style, so I'm going to cut them 2 inches maybe. I think 2 inches will be fine for the inside. Okay, I guess I could have made them smaller, but it's fine. We got plenty of white fabric here. Okay, so I have 2 triangles here that I can sew onto the inside so that they will look, so that they will come in a little bit to look like hearts. And then these outside ones will be bigger. And this is 3.5 inches, so let's just see if a 3.5 inch square will work. Okay, so this will wind up being like this. I'll pin it so it'll stay. Seems like it would work, and I probably don't need to do all this, but I'd like to just be able to visualize it so I can make sure that it looks the way I'm expected to look. And then the rest of this would go like this. And I'll be able to get a bonus triangle out of this one. And then the half square triangles. Will go like this. It is a little bit big, but with the seam allowances and everything, it'll still be okay. I guess it doesn't matter if I was initially thinking that I wanted the heart to be smaller than the arrow, but it doesn't have to be. Might actually be better if it isn't. Another option I have is also to make this bigger just by adding more of a block like this to make up the difference. But what I can do is just take out 1/4 inch from each of these, and I think that would help make this heart smaller. Some of it will be in the same allowance, but I still think it's going to be a little bit bigger than I was expecting. And I would rather have it be smaller. Okay, I'm going to trim the squares a little bit. I guess both of these, I don't have to separate them. Okay. How much smaller? 1/2 inch or 1/4 inch? Let's do 1/2 inch. Okay. And these I'm going to go ahead and sew these on, and then I can trim around the edges if I want to later. because I do want to make sure that these line up correctly, so I'll just wait to trim the blue ones. Okay, I've gone ahead and sewn both sides of the around the fold. I had the fold in the wrong place initially, but then I fixed that. I had it where the pin was instead of in the center. And now I have 2 half square triangles that can serve as my heart, the bottom of the heart. Like this, so this is the bottom of the heart. And then we worked on the top of the heart. So this can serve as the top like this. You can sew these pieces to each other and these pieces to each other, but as you can see, these are too big. So I just need to make it the same size as this actually. So it's not a lot of trimming I'm going to have to do, just a little bit here. So if I just take off a 1/4 of an inch, I think it was half before, but I'll just take off a 1/4 of an inch. And even if I have to trim a little bit more, then I can do that later. Okay. Not sure whether I should make this one a little bit smaller or not. Probably because this is an overlap here and I don't really need, it doesn't hurt to have an overlap, but don't really need the overlap. While I'm thinking about the size, the word of the day is speculate. If I made it smaller, it would look... You know what I could do is sew it on a diagonal. You know what, I'm just going to go ahead and keep it square. Keep it simple. And if I cut it a little bit shorter, yeah, let's just cut this a little bit, take off 1/4 of an inch. I'm not sure whether I should take 1/4 or half. I'll just do 1/4 just to be safe. Then this will be like this. I'm going to get another 1/4, I think. Yeah, I think that looks better. There's not so much of an overlap here. Not that the overlap did very much anyway, but... Okay. So this was cut 1/2 inch on both sides, so let me do this one the same. This was 1/2 inch off. I'll just do it on the folded part here. And this. I think I cut off 1/2 inch on this side too. Did I? I think this was just 1/4. Yep, that looks good. Okay, so I'll just cut off these dog ears. So these together, I can cut off this excess part. And this excess part. And then I can sew these into the corners. Okay, so we've got a game plan on getting this quilt top finished. And this is actually the right size. Maybe I'll be a little bit smaller. Here's an arrow. It's approximately the right size. I wanted this to be a little bit smaller, but I think this is fine. I don't think I need to make it smaller than this. And with the seam allowance, I probably will have to add a little sashing to make it fit to this. I hope that you enjoyed watching me make progress on my heart and arrow quilt. I also hope that you had a chance to sew along with me. And if you did, make sure you leave a comment to let me know what you worked on today. And you can get an entry in the drawing that way. The second way that you can enter to win whether or not you had a chance to sew today is to use the secret word of the day in your comment. Each winner will win a copy of the Quilt Journal plus some other goodies. Okay, some of the big news is that the colors of the year of 2026 have been announced. Pantone has declared that Cloud Dancer is the color of the year. It's weird to me that a neutral would be selected as the color of the year. Normally when I'm choosing a neutral, I'm comparing it to something else. So if I have, say, a blue, I'm going to check my neutral to say, okay, which neutral matches the blue that I've selected. And I don't normally select the neutral by itself. There's apparently a lot of controversy about this particular color, but it's not a bad color. It's just not one that I would have chosen as a color of the year. Kona Cotton has also chosen their color of the year. Their color is called Wander, and it's a shade of green. It's just a very common green to me, and I'm not really sure why that was chosen either. But I can picture myself making a green and white quilt. I think that would make lovely. In fact, I've already made a green and white quilt, and I wouldn't mind making another one. And then Coloro, I don't know how to pronounce that, Coloro, I've never heard of them, but they've also chosen a color of the year, and so I might as well share that with you as well. It's called Transformative Teal. I don't remember when teal was popular, but it doesn't feel fresh to me. It doesn't feel like a fresh color. It feels like it reminds me of days gone past. So actually I'm not really thrilled with any of the colors of the year. But I guess that's good news for me, because then I can just choose whatever color I want and not worry about what's trending. I'm not a very trendy person anyway, so it's fine with me, whatever they choose as their color of the year. The other big news, which is really exciting to me and I'm really happy about this, is that the American Quilter Society, AQS, is having their convention again in Columbus, Ohio. They used to have it here for a while, and then they moved to other places, and now they're back, and I'm really excited about that. The show this year will be the weekend of September 23rd to 26th, and I'll be sure to be going there. There have been times when I just went every single day because there is so much to see and do, but I'm not sure if that'll happen this year or not. But we'll see what happens, and we'll see how much energy I wind up having for the show. What do you think about the colors of the year and the quilt show in Columbus, Ohio? I'll be back tomorrow to show you more progress on this quilt. Thank you for watching. I appreciate all of your support and hope to see you again tomorrow, if not sooner. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss tomorrow's video.